Hello and welcome to another video from Tyler's Codex. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you like this video, and please leave a comment so I can know what you think about this. But in the light of Men's Mental Health Month, I felt like I should do a video on pertaining to men and surrounding men. And today I want to talk about to men. The message I want to give is to love your life, and it encompasses your loving a life and loving a life force. So we all have hells in this world. We go for things that that are negative. We go for things that keep us in a state of depression and anger. And the truth is, some of these things we can't control. Some of these things existed long before we were born, and we are not born into it. For example, just to give a quick example of what I'm talking about, like um poverty. Sometimes poverty could have been in your family for a long time, and now you're a young man, you're a middle-aged man, or you're even a teenager, and you're living the consequences of that poverty. It's not really your fault. It's a hell that's been in your family, been there for a while. But similarly, there are a lot of hells that we have in our own life that are created by us. And just to talk to men about this, I realized I was having some thoughts earlier in the month. I realized a lot of these hells that we have created for ourselves comes from the fact that we don't really love ourselves, and we don't really love our life. We don't value how precious the time we have on this planet is. We don't value how precious life is. We don't value how precious our life force is. And the reason why I was compelled to think about this was I was I was basically thinking about some men in my life who they're furious with the baby mothers. They're furious with the baby mothers. I saw a story on the internet of a young guy. He was trying to get in contact with his baby mother, his baby, and his children being taken away from him. And that's a hell. If you're a father and you actually care, if you don't care, it's different. But if you're a father and you actually care, imagine the mother of your children keeping you away from your children. Imagine having to fight every day to try to see them. Imagine, by this time, the mother is probably poisoning their minds against you. That's really hard. You understand? Like, it's really difficult. But I realized too, but thinking through that, like sometimes we go straight to blaming the woman, like, oh, it's women nowadays, it's women, the way women are acting nowadays, and it's them that are doing all these things. But after penetrating those thoughts, I realized a lot of these babies wouldn't have been born if men really loved themselves and took responsibility for their life. If they really understood how precious they was, like, and not to be graphic or anything, but like your seed is precious, man. Like how many men learn that? How much of our fathers and our mothers taught us that our seed is precious? When your seed is precious, you won't just give it to any woman, because once you give it to any woman, it's real. What you're doing is you're giving a seed to a woman. Now that seed is not just yours, because that's where like the anger comes from. Is like that it's your child, and now you want to be in its life, but the mother is preventing you from being there. But you have to understand, once you gave your seed, it becomes part of her as well, and a lot of what's going to happen to your children is going to be dependent on what on her on the mother you chose to give it to. And learning to love ourselves, seeing that we are precious, it will give us a bit more consciousness and a bit more awareness, a bit of more caution of who we give it to. You have to understand that your seed is like they're going to be human beings one day. And this is another problem that I see too, because I was having these penetrating thoughts, like, a woman's body is not going to raise your children. Okay? Her mind is going to raise your children. There are a lot of babies being born, and this is just our fault as men. Like, we can't just put it on the women. A lot of us, we say, well, the woman doesn't want to open her legs. But yeah, a lot of the reason why that woman leg was open is because you saw a nice butt, you saw some titties, you saw some hair, You saw the facial structure you like. She probably was doing a kind of dance that excited you. She probably spoke a way that excited you. Who knows what she did? And the truth is, you got excited, and because of those physical things, because of her physical body, you decided to go plant your seed inside her. That happens, and that's why a lot of babies are even here today. A lot of babies are not even here because of love. A lot of babies are not here because of mindfulness. A lot of babies are here just because of lust. And the point I'm trying to make here is, when the woman's body is not going to raise your children, it's her mind. So you could have a woman who looks on the outside very alluring, but if her mind is scarce, you would be surprised how many women who look alluring on the outside are actually very insecure on the inside. And now, as a man, you go put your seed in that type of soil, and you're wondering why now hell is created. Now, like, when the child is here, there's a hell here now, because now you're wondering, well, like, why would she do that? Why would she keep the child from me? Why is she being this way? Why is all that kind of thing? Like, you planted your seed in hell, in hell, in a way. You put in yourself in these kind of situations. And as a man, I feel like it all comes from us not loving ourselves. Sometimes we don't think we deserve more. Sometimes we be so scarce. The moment we see a little girl and she look good and she flash her eyes for us, we're gone. You understand? So in this video, I want us to, like, if you're a man watching this, you're a young man, to reflect and like take some time and really remind yourself that you deserve, in terms of, even if we're talking about women right now, you deserve a woman who has a mind that wants to build something with you, or build her children. You want a woman who has a mind, who's not going to try to rob her children of a father. You have to take your time to really remind yourself of these things. It's not easy, because we live in a world that, unfortunately, the world we live in reminds us more of what we don't have and what we're not doing, rather than what we have and what we are doing. So it's your responsibility as an individual to give that to yourself. That validation that all of us as men are looking from women, it's important that we give that to ourselves. Women can't do that for us, unfortunately. And this is why in this video I want us to move away from just being angry at women who have wronged us probably in the past, and who, even maybe a guy watching this video, and you're in that situation where you're in a stressful situation with your baby mother, mother of your children. you know it's not, at the end of the day, sometimes you have to take some accountability and realize, well, what was I doing to put myself in a situation? And the reason, so some may say, like, well, my kids are here already, what's the point of going through this growth now? Well, one of the biggest points is to stop it, because you'll be surprised that a lot of men in their 50s, they're still thinking like they are in their 20s. There are a lot of men who are 60 still thinking like they're teenagers. They're still doing the same thing, running after the same women. And then when these men get into problems, you're like, oh my gosh, how did I get here? How did I end up in a lawsuit? How did I end up for baby with this woman, and she don't even care about the baby? She wants to be partying all the time. My baby haven't even eaten, and she's out there drinking with her friends. How did I end up here? How do you end up here? It's because since the days of your teenagehood, you haven't grown out of that. You're still chasing a body. And to move away from just the woman perspective of this, this really translates to everything in life. You understand? Everything in your life. If you do not think of yourself, if you do not love yourself, if you do not love your life force, if you do not love the talents, the gifts that you have, you understand? And it's not, I'm not saying, when I say talents and gifts, like your Jimi Hendrix guitar player. Even if you just know how to strum a couple chords, if you don't love the little things about you, your life and your life force. So when I say life force, I mean like the external things, the things that you can give the world. Like, there's some men out here, some of us, we are very strong. There's some of us, we are very intelligent. There's some of us, we can sing very well. There's some of us who can have musical talents. There's some of us who are very athletic. Those what I mean, like your life force. You have to love those parts about you. And the beauty, or I should say the reward of giving your love, of loving yourself and loving what you have, is that it builds a sense of fight in you. It's a different masculinity. It's not a toxic masculinity. It's more like a divine masculinity it builds inside of you, that you want to protect those precious things that you have. So now you'll protect your peace more. Now you'll find you're financially in a better place because you protect your money because you've worked hard for it, and you really value how hard you worked for it. To go back to the original topic I was talking about, you're more you know you when you love yourself and love your life force, you're more careful of who you give your seed to, who give you the women you give your strength to. And when you're able to even take care of them better, you're able to be a better father, a better husband, a better boyfriend, a better spouse, because now you have a different fight inside of you, because you're operating out of love. You're not operating out of scarcity, out of, oh my gosh, I want this, I want this. You're operating under the mindset that this is what I have, and and I'm going to protect what I have. So for this men's mental health month, to those who are watching this, try meditating on love, and loving yourself and loving your life force, all of the things that God has blessed you with. Whether it's talent, again, whether it's athletic ability, I don't care how small you may think it is. Love those things about yourself. Love it. Love your seed, man. Love your seed, love them, even though they haven't turned into children yet. It starts now. Love them, so that now when you dealing with a woman, you don't just say, oh, she have a nice body. You start talking to her, you ask her certain questions. The beauty about this is, with people in your life, once you start loving yourself, right, and you start asking these kind of proper questions, they'll get uncomfortable and they'll leave. And that's a good thing. Don't think that's a bad thing. But yeah, so these are my meditations for this month, and I hope it could help somebody as well. And once again, remember to like, share, and subscribe, and let me know if this video was helpful to you in any way.